Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Good. I'm not, but we'll be okay. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Fledge Cast. We once again have a guest because we're so lucky. We're going to talk about boxing, we're going to talk about music. Welcome to the show. I don't know if we will talk about music much today. Maybe we will. I hope so. Hello, my name is Nathan Barry. I'm the host of this show. What's your name?
Hello, I'm Jaya.
Hi, Jaya.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. The purpose of this show, in case you don't know, is I'm talking to some people that I admire and like about the things that they like. And I know that you're into boxing. So I want to talk to you about it and loosely kind of bring it back to music if we can, but it's kind of doesn't matter. So, how long have you been doing boxing for?
A little bit over a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you start doing that?
I started in Sydney. It was August last year.
Okay.
Yeah, I just always wanted to do boxing, but never really went for it. I don't know, I really like swimming. So I was like, I'm just going to swim for a while. And then, I don't know, one day I was looking for gyms when I first moved to Sydney.
Yeah.
And there was a gym near my house that had boxing. And I was like, I'll just go and try it.
Yeah,
and I
okay.
loved it.
Why have you always wanted to do it? Like, why was it always in the back of your head?
Self-defense. I always
True.
wanted to know how to defend myself and just build strength. And if it ever came to the, possibility to have to do something and defend myself in whatever situation, then I know that I can do it, and it just makes me feel safer.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so that was the main reason. And also as a stress release. Like
Yeah.
I always felt like it would be such a good way to let your anger out, because I feel like especially as women, we don't really have a lot of outlet for our anger, and we're kind of always thought to be good
Yeah.
and not really allowed to, be angry.
It's so unaccepted
Yeah.
comparatively to see, a woman lashing out compared to a man. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's stigmatized, and we tend to repress a lot of anger. So it's a really good way to, let it out and voice that in
Cool.
a healthy way.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
How did it compare to swimming? Like, did you get some of that in swimming? Because swimming's hard to do. So did you get that like release? Did you get some of that? What you get through boxing? Did you get it through swimming before that, or is it just completely different?
In a similar way, I guess it's like whatever you get from just exercising in general. I feel like swimming, I loved swimming and still do, but it's a lot more peaceful. Like to be in the water, it's like, your prime space. It's like, that's what you've known as a kid as well. Like when you're
Yeah.
before you come to this earth. So like just being in water, it's just like this beautiful calming space. And I loved swimming, and I just found it's like kind of like a meditative state that I would go into, and could just swim for ages and just really be at peace. With boxing, I definitely feel like it doesn't feel as peaceful because you are punching a bag.
Yeah.
But I definitely get that release of just like really feeling in my body. And I think it's just something that I get with exercise in general, just like really stepping into my body and really putting my mind to muscle, and just really it kind of puts in this like again meditative state of just like really zoning into your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. That's a very similar thing it's come up a lot in the conversations that I've had with other people about the thing that they're into, because it's been mostly like physical stuff that we've spoken about, like yoga and running and water polo and all these things. And that's come up a lot, is like the feeling of being in your body, especially with the yoga chat from a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it's amazing how much that connects across all these different sports, is like the feeling of just being present in whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
It's cool. Are you into the competitive side of boxing at all?
Never explored that. I actually just recently, so when I started in Sydney, I was just punching a bag.
Yeah.
So never done pad work.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just moved back to Melbourne. I'm trying to find another gym. And the one that I've gone to so far, they all do pad work. And it's so hard. Like
Well,
I know
how?
I know how to throw a punch
Yeah.
and I know how to be on the side of the gloves. But when it comes to me holding the pads, I am hopeless. Like I feel like the coordination, the hand-eye foot coordination that you need to be on the side of the pads, it's just a whole different story. But I feel like that's way more, like to me that's looks like and feels like a lot more what boxing should feel like than just punching a bag, especially if you do want to go into more a competitive side of it, which I don't necessarily do. I don't really like fighting.
Yeah, fair.
Funnily enough, like I don't really see myself be on a ring. But I do really want to get more into the pad work because I feel like that would just really help with again, like that coordination, and it's like it would just feel a lot more real in terms of like I can say that I actually do box. I'm not just punching a bag.
Yeah, it's not stationary.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Something just popped into my head as you were saying that. So annoying when that happens. So you don't really like fighting. You've just started doing pads. Yeah, I wanted to actually ask you about, is there a connection between what you do with boxing and how you like teach yourself that, and especially now that you're doing pads and stuff, is there a connection between that and what you do creatively? Like, are there any things that overlap, or is it a completely separate world?
I feel like it's a different world. Like I don't really see them coexisting, but at the same time, for me to work out and have a routine, like I need to do some sort of exercise every day for at least like a minimum 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's my routine and my regime, and I really like to stick to that. And that definitely, like the only way that I could see them relating to each other is how having that routine keeps me accountable, and then also gives me a better mindset to then show up in other aspects of my life, like being creative and,
of course,
just work. So I can definitely see, like, if I feel like if I wasn't active in my body, I wouldn't feel good about myself, and then that would reflect in other aspects as well.
Do you reckon it would you'd make some different, like you would style something differently if you were in a bad mood compared to a good mood?
I feel like I would forget things.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like maybe I like to go on set when I style quite prepared and like have things that I know that I want to use. But it's happened before that I go there and like a style model, and then after the shoot I go home and I'm like, oh my God, no, I really wanted to use this and I didn't. So I feel like if I'm not completely like focusing in my body, then I tend to forget things, and I'm like, oh, but I really wanted to do that, and then I just ended up like being a bit upset.
True.
But yeah, definitely my mood will 100% affect on how I show up in my workplace and how much I give to whatever the project is.
And that ties back to whether or not you've been active enough during the week.
Yeah, definitely.
In my mind, I was wondering like if, I don't know, this is so stupid, but if like different punching patterns could then be translated to like spots on an outfit, you know what I mean? Like just something, some dumb little connection like that. But your connection is much more interesting and real than just like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought about it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that now that you mention it, I'll probably be thinking about it more.
Since you started doing it, have you, like the outfits that go along with boxing, has that had any influence in the other side of it, like your styling and
Well, I love
fashion
to
in
have
general?
I have red gloves,
Yeah,
my favorite color, and I do have my gym tops match the gloves
cool.
because I like to be quite fabulous.
Yes, of
Always.
course. How could you not?
And I just love the look of it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm not really like, if in every other aspect of my life, in terms of like what I wear, I put so much effort in.
yeah,
When it comes to like activity and sports, I don't really have like cool gym outfits.
Yeah,
Like
cool.
it's one thing that I don't really, because they're so expensive.
Mm.
And I'm like, I don't really want to spend money on an active wear.
They're so expensive, and then everyone just looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whereas you could just wear something slightly different that you got from an op shop, and that's cool because you're standing out, and you didn't pay $300 for, a pair of tight shorts or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So I just have my little red bra and my gloves, and I'm
Matching.
happy.
Fabulous. I love it.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears for a second, and I want to play a little game that I made before.
Okay.
You know how this game works, obviously. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you'll have some time to answer the questions. But if you hear this sound effect, you have until the end of the sound effect to give me your answer.
Okay.
And then you'll either hear this or this. And there's no prize, there's no points.
Sad.
So maybe next season the games will have some kind of reward, but for now they don't.
So there's a right and wrong answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
With some of these, some things they'll just be like we've already been talking. They'll be just launching pads for conversation, but others I've looked up some stuff and I've learnt about boxing so that we can learn together.
Is it? Okay, I feel like I'm not gonna know any of the answers.
It's so fun. I've made a little jingle for you as well.
Okay.
Boxing, 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 boxing. We're gonna talk some shit about boxing. Yeah, we are. Maybe some interesting questions. Boxing, boxing. I'm so sorry. We're gonna talk about boxing. Yes.
Love it.
First question. How long was the longest recorded boxing match ever? How long do you reckon it went for?
God.
How many hours?
13.
13 hours. Close though. You were only like almost double. It was 7 hours and 19 minutes. It was all the way back in 1893 this happened. It was 110 rounds. I don't know how long an average round of boxing goes for. I don't know anything about this sport, but that's a long time to be punching someone in the head.
But just the same two people for the whole round.
Yeah.
Oh.
What were their names? Andy Bowen from New Orleans and Jack Burke from Texas.
Damn.
7 hours and 19 minutes. And it was a declared no contest, and later that was changed to a draw. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Staunch motherfuckers.
I know. No fun. Next question. When was the cardboard box invented?
The what?
The cardboard box. You know, like moving boxes, or like just any box that packaging comes in. Yeah.
Also not to do with boxing.
No.
Oh.
When was the cardboard box invented? Was it A, 1817, B, 1920, or C, 1856? I can give those to you again if you want.
What was A?
1817. 1920 or 1856?
C.
C, 1856? Close. It was 1817. Yeah.
Damn.
That's when they made the cardboard box. I didn't look up where, but that.
So random.
Yes. Why is boxing called boxing? Do you know where the word comes from?
I actually never thought about it.
No, me neither until today.
Crazy. Yeah, I guess because it's not called punching.
No.
Box. It's got to do with a box.
Yeah. Hence the cardboard box question.
Because the ring is a square.
I honestly thought that too. That's what I thought it would have had something to do with that. But then
I guess it doesn't.
in my brain, I then was like,
That's
the ring probably came later.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably just fighting in the dirt at the start. But apparently it's from the word pugilism, which is an ancient Latin word meaning boxer. But then, like, you know how with Latin, like, you shorten things further and further down and it's more and more simple. So that word shortened down ends up meaning fist. And then the Greek word for it is clenched fist. So boxing derives from the Latin word for clenched fist, which is pix. So interesting.
But then,
P-Y-X, pikes, pix. And then over time it developed to become boxing.
that's a lot of development from
It's a long way.
pigs to boxing.
I know. Yeah. There was some other answer I found that was more about like box itself, but I think it was someone making it up and it didn't seem legit. This seemed legit.
Yeah, it does. It's always Latin.
Exactly. How many people train martial arts worldwide? A, 1 million, B, 350 million, or C, 30 million?
C. It's B, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say B. I was
Yeah.
like, surely not that many. But then I was
350
like,
million,
yeah.
which
that
is like the
makes-
whole population
That
of
makes
America.
more sense. Damn.
Yeah, and that's like across all different
And
kinds
that's
of martial
martial
arts. Yeah. Which boxing falls under, doesn't it? I suppose. Because kickboxing and stuff does, and like the UFC and all that.
Yeah, kickboxing would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last one. Last question. Who has the hardest punch in the world recorded?
Me.
You. Absolutely. It's a guy named Eddie Hall.
Is it? Yeah.
I think he's a big Scottish man.
Of course.
Yeah. And I was looking him up before and I was trying to work out what this means, but apparently his hardest recorded punch is 191,796 units of power, but I don't know what that means. And I don't know what the average punch is.
Is that like a speed thing?
I think it's just like the amount of force. So like I read a bit further about it and apparently it's like being hit by a car. Like that's how hard he can punch.
How
like
big is this
being hit.
man?
He's a big boy. Yeah.
Holy shit.
He's got no neck. You know, like,
Oh,
yeah, he's a big boy.
gross.
I'll put a photo up
Not the no
for this
neck.
show. Yeah. He's just a big like brick. He's not even like a brick house. He's just a brick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Thank you for playing.
That's okay. I failed miserably with
You
that.
did really well. We have to listen one more time while I think of more questions. We're going to take a 2-minute break, but this episode of the Fledge Cast was brought to you by Ego Magazine. Can you tell me a bit about Ego?
Yeah. So Ego Magazine is my magazine. Basically, okay, so I'll tell you, I guess, from the beginning, like how it
Please.
started.
Yeah.
That's the easy way to introduce it. So as you know, I studied and graduated in sociology, grew up loving fashion, breathing fashion my whole life. But simply just decided not to study it because, I don't know, I just felt like I really wanted to learn something about what was happening around me. Always loved history and philosophy in school, and came across sociology at my uni, like while I was browsing the subjects online, and I loved it, loved the sound of it. And I was like, this sounds like right up my alley. But throughout my degree, I always knew that I wasn't going to become a sociologist, and that I was always going to work in fashion.
Yeah.
And as well as studying, I was, still forming myself as a stylist. And then when I graduated, which happened to be during COVID, so I had all this time to do absolutely nothing. I was trying to find a way to combine sociology with fashion. And so I came up with the idea of Ego.
Yeah.
So basically Ego, the idea behind it is, kind of what inspired me was, fashion is something that we all wear. We
Yeah.
all love it. Or even if you don't love it, you have to wear clothes.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, you don't have to, but
Most of
usually
the
you
time.
do.
Yeah.
So for me, like my idea was, why not use fashion, something that is so common everywhere in the world, to for a higher purpose and to send a message and to educate people.
Yeah.
So the way it started was it was a monthly publication initially. So I would come up with an issue every month, which could be, it went from global warming, abortion rights, women's rights, like it kind of varied. It was a pretty vast topic. And I would address those issues through fashion and then poetry as well. That came in a little bit later. So the way it started was, at the beginning, I was making the clothes, also because I had all this time during COVID. And I also wanted, before I pitched the idea and project to other people, I actually wanted to go with something to show, not just an idea. And then as it developed into a more concrete project, then I started getting emerging designers in. So now a really big part of the magazine, it's also a platform for emerging sustainable brands.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the moment, so it's been almost 3 years since I've launched it.
Oh,
I've
it's gone so fast.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, I've printed the first issue 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it was March. Yeah, 2 years ago. And I'm now working on the second issue that I want to print, still kind of figuring out time and place and how exactly I want it to look like. But yeah, it's a really fun journey. It's one-man show, so I'm producing, styling and doing everything for the photo shoots, and then I collaborate with amazing photographers, models, makeup artists, and creative people to bring the concept to life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've collaborated with some amazing people, been really lucky. So it's good, it's fun, it's still trying to figure out how to make money from it,
Yeah.
which
That's
is
the
hard.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a dying industry, editorial, and it's, you know, even though like, even now that the magazine is printed, like not many people really buy magazines, sadly. So, but it's really fun. It's my baby, and you know, it's still like a really good way to express myself and put my work into the world.
I love it. Yeah, everything you do is incredible. And you said just before it's a one-man show, and like that is true. The way that your content and the magazine comes across, it's like it was made in an office with a massive team of people, but it's just you, and it's insane how.
And you.
Yeah, I mean, but I help out a little bit, but like it's insane. It's insanely impressive how you bring all these people together for the benefit of ego, but also for the benefit of themselves. Like you've connected so many different people through what you're doing. It's amazing. It's really, really impressive and important, I think. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah, it's good. I just hope that it gets out there a little bit more with time. But yeah, it is. I think it's just a really good way to like, I just wanted to be, initially I was like, oh, I wanted to be kind of like a newspaper.
Yeah.
But that educates people and talks about the news in a artistic way and visual way. So, and I feel like that's how people, especially our generation, that's how they absorb it better, through like visuals and pretty things to look at.
Yeah, true.
So I think it's just a good way to like educate people if you can just look at an image and that image tells you something, especially like through clothing, aesthetic, accessories. I think that's like a really good way to send a message across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk about it so eloquently, like you know what you're doing. It's great. It's really cool. I wish I had the same kind of like knowing of what Fledge is, you know, the way you talk about ego is like, oh fuck, you know what's going on. You know what you're doing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really
I mean,
inspiring.
I do, like, I know what I want it to be and like it to be. And I guess it is that, but I also constantly struggle, especially with like social media. I'm constantly like, okay, I want it to look this way, but I also want it to look like more like this. And especially like seeing other magazines on Instagram are like, oh, I like this, but I really like that too. And they're like polar opposites. So it's always like, I'm always trying to rebrand it in a way that it's more mine. But then the next day I'm like, oh, but this is so cool and it's so different. So it's
constantly evolving.
Ever changing. Yeah. And, you know, it's okay. Like even when you go, I love going on people's Instagrams and scrolling like, you know, magazines or creative people and scrolling all the way down and see how they evolved from the first post to where they're now. And like you just see like how, you know, how they change, and it's great. You know, everyone goes through it. It's just this inevitable evolution.
Absolutely. So cool. I want to jump back to boxing for a tiny bit and then I'll get out of your hair. But I was wondering, because I have to make this about music.
Yeah,
that's my like little promise to myself, that I have to make it even just a little bit about music. When you go to the gym and do boxing, are you listening to music, or is it just what's on the speakers?
The gym provides, which sometimes it's a bit
shit.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I was boxing. I just did a month of boxing at Upstate in Fitzroy.
Okay.
And the boxing classes were awful because no one was like actually there to tell you how to punch the bag. It was just, not a vibe. But their playlist was amazing. They were just playing like Justin Timberlake, step up music. And I'll be like punching the bag and I'll be like, I just want to take my gloves off and dance. What is this?
That's sick.
I loved it. But the gym in Sydney was, I mean, I don't know. Some songs are like just not the best music. Okay. It's pretty like
real full on.
Yeah. But it can be good for boxing. Like it's good to have rhythm as you punch. Yeah. And I think it definitely helps.
True. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What would be like 5 songs in your playlist if you were to decide what gets played at the gym?
While I box.
Yeah. Even just 2 songs.
Well, I got to say Hurricane.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan.
Really?
Because I don't know, because it is about a boxer.
Yeah. Cool.
So I feel like that would kind of like through, even though it's not like, well, it is. But then again, I feel like maybe if it's like a song that I really like, I would get distracted because I'll start singing along.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe not.
Maybe not that one.
Okay. Damn. Songs for boxing. Damn, it has to be like a song that I like, not something that I would listen to every day, because I don't want it to be like, again, like I don't want to get distracted by the music.
Or you don't want to be driving in your car and the song comes on the radio and then you just start punching the steering wheel because that's just what you used to.
Yeah, I'll get out of the car, start punching someone.
Yeah, legit. It just triggers you no matter where you are.
Sends me into space.
You got to be careful with that kind of shit.
Yeah, I think techno is probably pretty good. I always think, you know what, Psytrance. And that's what they had at the gym in Sydney. And you just like, especially when it drops, it's like, nice. And you're just like punching along with it. So I don't really know, like I can't really give you the name of 5 Psytrance songs.
So if
you asked me a few years ago, I probably could have. I do Fira, but not now.
Not anymore. That's cool though to know.
Yeah, I think that would probably be good. Because like I don't feel distracted from like, I love this song, and I don't want to just like start like put my gloves down and start dancing to it like I do when I listen to Justin Timberlake. I'm like, So it puts you in the zone, and it gives you like it also like, because it's so aggressive in a way, like really builds you up. Yeah. So it's like a good
tension and release.
Mm-hmm.
Build up all the energy and then let it out.
Yeah.
That's cool. When you go to the gym you're at the moment, are anyone in headphones or anything, or is everyone just like locked in together?
Yeah, they're classes.
Yeah, so it's not like everyone's in their own little world.
No, you have to be, especially at the moment I've been doing pads work, so you're working in pad. It would be pretty bad
tough.
if people are in their headphones.
2 different songs, like everyone would be so out of sync.
Yeah, no, the ones that I've been to recently, they actually didn't even have music.
True.
Like I went kickboxing for the first time the other day, which was epic, and there was no music.
Okay.
But it was kind of like, it was just, the guy was just mostly like talking and really like guiding us through the class. So it was I was more able to like focus.
Was that your first time doing kickboxing?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
gonna keep doing it?
I want to, but I do. I'm really struggling to find a gym that has everything that I want.
Oh, you were saying that to me the other day.
Yeah, because I want to do boxing. Now I want to do kickboxing.
Yeah.
I also want to do Pilates, yoga, and I want to swim.
Mm.
And I don't want to pay $500 a week for 5 different gyms.
No.
So, but like I've found gyms that have everything but kickboxing. I feel like kickboxing is one of those things that they have to be boxing gyms.
Okay.
Or they don't have to be, but like it's more likely that they just like that's what they focus on.
Yeah.
Whereas boxing, you can find it in other gyms as well. But maybe I'll go to the park
Yeah.
and we will do
Let's
kickboxing.
start our own classes.
I want to.
Yeah, I'm so down.
Especially in summer. It will be so fun and free.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
Yeah.
the main thing.
All we have to do is get some pads and some gloves.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure I have both still. Because I had a
Yeah.
bag I used to kick the shit out of when I was younger. And I did taekwondo.
Love it.
And so they're somewhere. They'll be somewhere. But if not,
Mm.
just go skipping and punching. It'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you love skipping as well, don't you? That's very boxer mentality.
Yeah, before I even got into boxing, I don't know why I got into skipping. I guess I was just in my I want to be really fit era, and
Yeah.
I just bought a rope. I didn't know how to skip up until that moment, and then I bought it. And when I first got it, didn't know how to skip, and then I just learned and got so into it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would skip for ages.
Not like without stopping?
It would
Or
be
What would be
intervals of 3
yeah.
minutes, and then
Okay.
I would stop for like a few seconds.
Yeah.
So it'd be like 3 minutes on, like maybe 10 seconds off for 40 minutes.
Bro, that is insane. When I do it, it's like 1 minute on, 1 minute off, where I'm doing some other exercise. So I'll like do a minute of skipping and then do a minute of squats and then a minute of skipping and then a minute plank and then a minute of skipping. And like, that's how I'll start a workout
Yeah.
and do like 10 minutes of skipping with a random little thing in between
Yeah.
before I like go for a run or a bike ride or some shit. Yeah, you doing like 40 minutes flat out. That's insane.
I don't think I could do it now. I mean,
No?
I don't know. I haven't skipped in a while. Well, actually, I had a little skipping section. The most recent was Christmas last year, so not that recent. But
Yeah.
that was the first time after probably a year.
Mm.
But I do that a lot. I like really get into sport and I do it really hard for a while and then I just completely drop it.
Just drop it. Mad.
Like I haven't swam in months and I was swimming every day for ages.
True.
So now it's boxing.
Yeah. I love it.
So I kind of go really hard on one thing and then next. But I feel like boxing I really want to keep. The self-defense factor, it's what motivates me the most.
If there was someone kind of on the fence about whether or not they should do it, what would be your advice to them if they're
To convince
undecided?
them?
Yeah.
He, she.
Whatever.
Well, I feel like as a woman, again, like the anger release factor, like just really is such a good outlet to let because even if you might not think you have anger, you do, and you're just repressing it. Because we all, even if it's like a minor little things you might not even realize, but you just build up, or even like anxiety. And it's just such a good way to let it out without actually hurting anyone. Because that if it builds up, you don't know how it's gonna come out.
Yeah.
So that's. And then self-defense again, like I feel so much safer. Not that like I don't even know if I will be able to punch someone. I've never done that. But just knowing that I know how to throw a punch, might not ever have to do it. Hope
Hopefully
I don't.
not,
But but it just makes me feel safer,
Yeah.
to just be a woman in this world.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it's just really, and it's just such a good workout.
Yeah.
And it keeps you like full. It is mostly your upper body, obviously, but like when you go to classes, you do skipping, which
You're
is
running
amazing,
around,
and
like
ab work.
Yeah.
Like it's such a all round, full body workout. So it's such a good way to stay fit.
you're selling it to me for sure. Every conversation I've had so far, I've asked that question, like what would you'd say to get someone over the line, and everyone's answer, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go to the park and punch each other.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on
Thank you
to the
for having
Fledge
me.
Cast. I appreciate it. It'd be cool to have you again at some point in the next season.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? Find Ego.
So the best way, it's on Instagram. So
Yeah.
it's their handle is e.g.o.art.
Yeah.
Ego standing for exposing global obscenities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to see my work.
Sweet. I'm going to put a little intro at the start of each episode, I think, but where I like introduce who you are and everything. Because we didn't, I said, hello, what's your name? But I didn't really delve any deeper than that. So before each episode, I'm going to have a little intro with everything. So
Nice.
they'll know where to find you.
Cool.
But thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Thanks for listening for another week. We'll be back again next week with another guest. I don't know who that is yet, but you probably do because I would have posted about it. But you're in the future and I'm in the past. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. Goodbye. Yay, thanks.
Vicious. This is vicious. Vicious. This is vicious. This is vicious.
Oh, that's cute.
20 thieves, they're thieves, they're on 20 thieves, 20 thieves, thieves, 20 thieves, thieves, 20 thieves, thieves, 20 thieves, they're on.